أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, so we are picking from علامات الأفعال. We are done with the علامات الأسماء. So علامات الأفعال, the signs or characteristics of verbs, those things that when we see we know that this is a verb. They are the text in AL-AJRUMIYYA says والفعل يعرف بقد والسين وسوف وتاء التانيث الساكنة. Okay, the text said, Imam al-Ajrum, he said, the verb is known by the article qad, qaf dal, qad, and also sin, the letter sin, and also sawfa, and ta'it-tanithi as-sakinati. Okay, so these four are the signs that will show us what is a verb, and that will show, when we see a verb, we will get to know, when we see a word, we will get to know whether this word is a verb or not. Okay, so with these four signs, we can judge. In explanation, Imam or Sheikh Al-Uthaymin says, أربع علامات, four signs, كل كلمة مسبوقة, every word that is preceded بقد, with qad, every word that is preceded by qad, فهي فعل, it is a verb. So if you find a word and you have qad before it, then this word is a verb. It says كل كلمة مسبوقة بالسين وسوف فهي فعل. Any word that is preceded by sin or sawfa فهي فعل, it is a verb. كل كلمة مختومة, any word that is sealed with or ended with bita التانيث الساكنة, with the feminine ta that has sukun on it, فهي فعل, it is a fi'l. Okay, we see this in these things in examples, inshallah. He says, مثال الأول, that is the sign for the first one, example for the first one, which is the qad. He gives us a verse from the Quran, قد أفلح المؤمنون, surely the believers have succeeded or are successful. قد أفلح المؤمنون. So أفلح فعل. He says أفلح here is a verb. الدليل, the proof, دخول قد, the introduction or being preceded by qad, or the introduction of qad before it. So we see qad coming before aflaha, and so the word aflaha is a verb. Al-mu'minun is ismun. Ad-dalil dukhul al-alif wal-lam, because it has alif wal-lam. So as we learned in the alamat al-asma, it makes al-mu'minun also a noun. Okay, as-sin, example for the sin. كلا سيعلمون. كلا سيعلمون. The sin here means it precedes a present tense verb, and it makes the meaning go into the future. It simply means will, W-I-L-L, will. So like to go, if I introduce sin before it, it will become will go. Okay, so that is the work of this sin. The same as sawfa too. Okay, so it says a sin, for the example for the sin, ay mithalu sini, kalla sayalamun, surely they will know. Sayalamun, the word sayalamun, if you take the ya'lamuna alone, it is a verb, fi'lun, it is a verb. Why? It says لدخول السين for the entry of the sin or the sin being attached to it. So we see that the verb is يعلمون, they know, and then sin is introduced to mean will know. That is, they will know. سيعلمون. So the sin that is attached to it makes us know that this is a verb. Again, it says في سورة ألهاكم, in the chapter ألهاكم, that is ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون. Okay, so it says the كلا سوف تعلمون, surely they will know. سوف تعلمون, if you pick the سوف تعلمون and you take the تعلمون from it, تعلمون alone is a verb. The تعلمون فعل. Why? لدخول سوف, because of the entry of سوف, that is the introduction of سوف, سوف preceding it. فكل كلمة دخلت عليها السين فهي فعل. Any word that is preceded by this sin is a verb. وكل كلمة, and any word دخلت عليها, that is preceded by سوف فهي فعل, it is also a verb. فإذا كانت السين, if the sin منها, فإذا كانت السين منها, if the sin is from this kalima, is part of the word, فقد تكون فعلا, it might be a verb. فقد تكون فعلا, it might be a verb. وقد لا تكون, وقد لا تكون, and it might not be also. So if you see a word and it has sin before it, you don't just jump and say, oh, this is a verb. No, you wait and look at it. There is a condition. He says, فَالسِّينُ, he says, let's pick it from here. فَإِذَا كَانَتِ السِّينُ مِنْهَا, if the sin is from the word, فَقَدْ تَكُونُ فِعْلًا, it might be a verb. وَقَدْ لَا تَكُونُ, وَقَدْ لَا تَكُونُ, and it might not be. So it might be a verb or might not be. فَمَثَلًا, example, the word sihiru or sihirun. فَالسِّينُ هُنَا, the sihr, that is magic. The sin here, فَالسِّينُ هُنَا مِنْ بِنْيَةِ الْكَلِمَةِ, it is part of the construction of the word. It is part of the root of the word, the foundation of the word. فَالسِّينُ التي هي علامة على الفعل خارجة عن بنية الكلمة. The sin we are saying that it is a sign for verbs, it is not part of the root of the verbs. That sin stands alone, is a word on its own, and it comes to attach with the verb. It is not part of the construction of the verb. So the word sihrun, the sin is part of it. So this sin here is not the sign we are talking about. Okay, so if you take فَمَثَلًا, for example, if you take سَيَعْلَمُونَ, they will know. أول الفعل يا, the beginning, the verb starts from the ya, starts from the ya. After the sin, the ya before the ain, that is the beginning of the word. So the word is يعلمون. وَالسِّينُ دَخَلَتْ عَلَيْهِ, and the sin came to attach itself with it. So that is the sin we are talking about. It's the sin that is not part of the binyat al-kalima, the root of the word. But if it is of the root of the word, it is not a sign. Though the word might be a verb or not, but this sin is not a sign. Okay. Yes, the difference between the sin and sawfa, though both mean will, but in the Arabiya we have a qaida, a law that we say إذا زادت المبنى زادت المعنى, إذا زاد المبنى زاد المعنى. أيوة. أو some also say الزيادة في المبنى تدل على الزيادة في المعنى. So when the construct of a word is enlarged, the meaning is also enlarged. So sin alone means will, But since we've seen sawfa, there is waw fa, then it means the meaning should be larger. So we can say, I will go there. And I mean, oh, just this week or just within this month, I will go there. In that case, I will just use the sin. I will say, sa'azhabu hunak. I will go there. That is within maybe today, tomorrow, the nearest future, we use sin. But when I want to say I will go there and I intend maybe 2 months, 3 months, a longer future, that is a further future, then I will say sawfa azhabu hunak. Sawfa azhabu hunak. I will use the sawfa instead. We say asinu lil mustaqbal al qarib wasawfa lil mustaqbal al ba'id. Okay, so he says again, continuing, وقوله تاء التأنيث الساكنة اشترط شرطين. And he's saying, that is the writer of AL-AJRUMIYYA saying that تاء التأنيث الساكنة is also a sign of knowing a verb. اشترط شرطين. He gave 2 conditions in this small 3 words that he said. Al-awwal, the first condition, تاء تأنيث. This ta must be a ta of ta'anis, a feminine ta. Wathani sakina. The second condition is that this ta, the feminine ta, should take sukun. Okay. فَكُلُّ كَلِمَةٍ خُتِمَتْ بِتَاءِ التَّأْنِيثِ السَّاكِنَةِ فَهِيَ فِعْلٌ. Every word, khutimat, that is sealed or ended, بِتَاءِ التَّأْنِيثِ السَّاكِنَةِ, with the feminine ta that has sukun, فَهِيَ فِعْلٌ. It is then a verb. مثال ذلك قوله تعالى. Example of that is in the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قالت الأعراب in the Quran. قالت الأعراب. فكلمة قالت, the قالت alone, فعل is a verb. لأنها ختمت, because it is sealed or it ends with ta at-ta'nis as-sakina, with a ta of feminine that also has sukun. But then in the writing of the verse, we see kesra under the ta. That is written according to qira'ah, recitation. It is vowelized according to recitation. But in actual sense, the ta here in qalat has sukun. So it is qalat and then al-a'rabu. So the ta here, the ta in qalat has sukun. Just like we say qalat sakina to annaha satati. Sakina said she will come. You get it? So qalat, the t here is ta, is a feminine ta that has sukun. This is the ta we are talking about. So it becomes clearer in the next example here. وَقَالَتْ عَجُوزٌ أَقِيمٌ. And a barren old woman said. And a barren old woman said. So فَقَالَتْ here, the قَالَتْ here, فعل is a verb. لأنها ختمت بتاء التانيث الساكنة, because it ends with the feminine ta and it also has sukun. Okay, now مثل, a word like بيتٌ آخرها تاء, its ending is ta, of course. لكنها ليست للتأنيث, but this ta is not for feminine. It's not to show a feminine word. بل هي من بنية الكلمة. This ta is part of the construction of the word. It's part of the roots of the word. The word bait means a house. The word is formed by bao, yai, and ta. So the ta is part of the word. This is not the feminine ta that has sukun we are talking about. Okay. وَقَوْلُهُ, and the writer saying تَاءُ التَّانِيثِ السَّاكِنَةِ. He bringing this, it is what? It is احترازا من غير الساكنة. احترازا, that is being cautious or protecting or staying clear of. min غير sakina, staying clear of the ta that is not sakina. Because he has to be very careful. What these scholars have done in small, very few words is very amazing. They bring just few words and they put all the conditions in there. He's saying ta'ut tanis and also as-sakina. If he hadn't brought the as-sakina, then we will have a lot of ta entering here. Meanwhile, there are no signs for verbs. So showing the one that is a sign for verbs, he was careful enough to tell us that it is ta'u in the first place, and then it is ta'nith, it is for ta'nith, that is for feminine. And then also it is as-sakina, it has skun on it. So ihtiraz means protection or being cautious or staying off. Ihtiraz min, being cautious of or staying clear of, kind of, or protecting something up from something. So ihtiraz and min ghayri sakina, it is a means of staying off those that are not sakina, those that do not have skun. Okay, he will show us an example of those that do not have skun, inshallah, very soon. فإن تاء التانيث غير الساكنة, for surely the ta that is for feminine and also has skun, laysat, and does not have skun, afwan, the ta of feminine but that does not have skun, laysat min alamat al-fi'l, it is not of the signs of a verb. Clearly, تقول, you say, هذه شجرة, or this is a tree, or you say هذه بقرة, هذه بقرة, this is a cow. هذه تاء التانيث, this ta at the end of shajaratun, the ta there and the ta at the end of baqaratun, both of them are ta and they come at the end of the word and they are for ta'nis, they are for feminine. Walakin gayru sakinatin, but they don't have skun, they don't take skun. Idhan shajaratun, if so, then the tree, la naqulu innaha fi'lun, we won't say the word shajara is a verb, no. لأن تاء التأنيث غير ساكنة, because the ta of feminine in it is not with skun, it doesn't have skun. بقرة, same thing, لا نقول فعل لأن تاء التأنيث غير ساكنة. Okay, because the ta of tanis in shajara and baqara, they are not ta at-tanis as-sakina, they lose the as-sakina. Okay. قال الله تعالى, Allah Almighty has said, قال هذا رحمة من ربي, قال هذا رحمة من ربي, he said, this is a mercy from my Lord. رحمة ليست فعلا, of course rahma, mercy, is not a verb, it's a noun. ليست فعلا لأن تاء التانيث غير ساكنة, because the ta, the feminine ta at the end of the rahma word, it doesn't have skun, it rather has dhamma, two dhamma, that is dhammatain yani. So it falls out. Rahma is not a verb. Okay. So in conclusion, idhan, if so, للفعل, if so, or then, للفعل أربع علامات, the verb has 4 signs. وهذه العلامات, and these signs, فيها ما يكون للماضي, there are some that are for past tense, ومنها ما يكون للمضارع, and some are for the present tense, ومنها ما هو مشترك, and there are those that that can be for ماضي and can be for مضارع, أي مشترك, it joins both. فتاء التأنيث, so the تاء التأنيث الساكنة تختص بالماضي, is specifically for فعل ماضي. So if you say قالت, she said, is past tense. If you say ذهبت, she went, is past tense. So that ta التأنيث الساكنة is alama specifically, أي تختص, is specifically or exclusively for the past tense الماضي. والسين and the sin وسوف and also the سوف تختص بالمضارع is specifically exclusively for the present tense verb. وقد تدخل and قد the article or the word قد تدخل على الماضي والمضارع. The قد sometimes precedes the past tense verb and sometimes it precedes the present tense verb, which I think we've explained several times. You've said that the qad, if it comes before a past tense, like if I say qad akala, it is for ta'kid, it is for emphasis. Okay. And then if I say qad ya'kul, if I bring it before a present tense verb and I say qad ya'kul, he might eat, it becomes lishak, there is doubt in it. Or litaqlil, it is to show how less probable it is to happen. When you introduce qad before a present tense verb, it shows how less probable the thing is to happen. If I say qad yazhabu, he might go, that is, I'm in doubt, or I'm thinking, oh, most probably he might not go. Okay. وَتَكُونُ قَدْ فِي أَوَّلِهِ, and قَدْ always comes in front of the word. فِي أَوَّلِهِ. Okay. السين وسوف وتكونان في أوله, and the sin and سوف, they are also in front of the word. They also come in front of the word. تاء التانيث الساكنة وتكون في آخره, and the تاء التانيث الساكنة, it comes at the end of the word. So you say ذهبت, the ta comes at the end. Okay. So these are the four. We have qad, and then we have sin, and then we have sawfa, and then we have ta'ut ta'nith as-sakinati. These are the four signs of knowing a verb in Arabic language. Okay, inshallah, we end this session here. May Allah grant us beneficial knowledge. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilman ya rabbal alamin. يا رب موسى وهارون وعيسى ومحمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أكرمنا بقوة الحفظ والفهم والمعرفة والحكمة آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.